I have a confession to make. This year I have listened to 283 books. Yep, you heard that right. I set my Goodreads challenge to just 100 because I wanted to change my reading habits this year, but then life happened. 2023 is, to be honest, a complete shit show. I can't even talk about most of it because it's not my stuff to share on the internet. I have been trying to claw my way out of the situation, all the situations, all of the shit for a long time. Well, I thought I was. It turns out I might have just been distracting myself from life. Let's rewind a little bit. Years ago, back when before I was first diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I was exhausted and not well at all. We'd moved away from home, where we live, the town we live in now, where my family and friends are, and I had no support system. And I realised my mental health was terrible. Everything was terrible. It was just bad. And at the time, I had a Garmin watch, like a smartwatch, and it had a body battery score on it. I spent quite a lot of time trying to figure out how to improve my battery. I was sleeping badly. I was tired all the time, and my battery was constantly bottoming out, like all the time, to the point my husband thought that the watch must be broken. And he wore it for a couple of days, and lo and behold, it reflected something entirely different when it was on his arm. So one of the experiments that I did was on different forms of reading. I discovered that listening to audiobooks gained me battery faster than reading in print or digital, and it was easier. I could relax more while I consumed books, but I could also listen to them while I did housework or drove or did the groceries or anything like that. It made stuff easier. Being the totally over-responsible person, the do-it-all-myself kind of person that I am, I promptly took that to mean that I could distract myself from boring, mundane tasks that I don't really like. And you can probably guess, ended up not resting anywhere near as much as I should have been. I have gotten better at this task, like at taking rest when I need to, though I'm not sure I'll ever not resent that I need so much rest. It's just part of life now, part of the daily routine. The thing is that now, instead of using audiobooks to distract me from boring tasks, I believe I've been using them to distract me from my real world problems. To some extent. I mean, some escapism is great. It's so important. It has always been something I enjoy. I've been reading science fiction, fantasy and horror for longer than I can remember. I was raised on a healthy diet of the stuff. This year I have taken things to a new level, and I realised just the other day that I'm filling my ears with books to the exclusion of so much else. I'm not listening to as much music as I normally do. I haven't been listening to many podcasts at all, and I've not been doing as much learning as I would either. Like, if you know Gallup Strengths, I'm high learner. I think it's my number one, and I need that. So there's lots of stuff I'm not doing that I would love to do, or that I do typically enjoy. Anyway, the other week I stopped. I did not plug in an earbud after getting up and greeting the animals, the dogs and the cats, and giving them some food. When I get up at stupid o'clock in the morning, and it is like 3 o'clock some mornings because the puppy comes and wakes me up. I made a coffee and I sat on the porch with a dog on each side of me and a cup of coffee, and I listened to the rain falling on the deck in the garden. It was dark. I think it was like 5 a.m. and it was really nice. After that, I normally about 6 o'clock take the puppy for a walk, and I didn't listen to an audiobook when we went to the beach. Instead, I listened to the sound of the waves crashing on the shore and rocks, and I listened to the dog's paws in the wet sand, and I embraced the wind in my hair rather than feeling annoyed that it made it harder to hear my book. I was present. I did the same thing again and again and again. Nothing, no sound other than what was happening around me until I sat down to do my work. I even, like, if I'm in the car, instead of listening to a book, I've been putting on my Yui Boom, listening to loud music and singing as I drive, and it's really fun. The next interesting thing that happened is that on the Sunday, I normally go to the library in the morning, I was feeling really off afterwards. My guts was not feeling great, So I sat on the couch, and instead of listening to a book, I picked up my Kindle and finished reading an ebook that I started reading 5 months ago. And after that, I picked up a print book that I had started 3 months ago, and I was halfway through what was remaining of the print book when I had this realization: is this relaxing? Am I actually relaxing the right way? Finally. And I laughed because I was really enjoying myself. I wasn't like flaked out, feeling exhausted and cranky, wanting just to disappear into an audiobook and distract myself with stupid phone games. Like when I'm listening to a book, I often just play mindless games. I was engaging with the written text, sipping on a drink and just relaxing, not just resting, but relaxing. They're so often lumped together, but I realise now that they're not the same thing. I went to the dictionary because, well, I'm a writer. Rest is defined as a bodily state characterised by minimal function and metabolic activities, freedom from activity or labour, a state of motionlessness or inactivity. Relaxation, on the other hand, is defined as the act of relaxing or state of being relaxed, a relaxing or recreative state, activity or pastime. So rest is freedom from activity, but relaxation is an activity in itself, a sense of enjoyment, like doing things that you enjoy doing, like playing the guitar or listening to music, or in my case, reading a damn book. Except it turns out that I need to read it with my eyeballs rather than my ears in order for relaxation to occur. When I can rest and relax at the same time, it's pretty damn awesome. It feels amazing. And this is so silly because I'm 43 next week and I should know this by now, but apparently I'm a workaholic, so in one way or another. Anyway, it takes me a lot longer, I think, to read a book with my eyeballs, but it's much more rewarding in some senses because I have to set everything else aside in order to do it, and it can feel like really delightfully selfish. My kids are always telling me I need to be more selfish, so I guess now I know how. Anyway, I think all of this is to say that I adore audiobooks. I'm not going to stop listening to them, obviously. I've listened so widely over the last years, but at this point I think it's safe to say I'm a full-blown addict and I need to cut down on my consumption. I've been collecting a lot of print books recently, in the last few years, and they're just gathering dust. It is time to blow away the cobwebs and get stuck in, like I intended to this year, until life kicked me in the butt. The thing is that while some distraction is good, distraction to the exclusion of everything else isn't. I need the sound of nature in my ears, and I can hear my own book yelling at me louder when I'm not allowing myself to be obsessively listening to other people's stories. And they don't even have to be great in order for me to just listen to them instead. There are definitely a lot worse things to be addicted to than audiobooks, but it's time for me to cut back and consume my favourite form of entertainment in other mediums as well. Here's to less distracting myself from things I want and need to do with what is easier, and to being more present. Catch you next time.